the curator of the Foster Mural and McCarl Coverlet Gallery at St. Vincent College, and I want to welcome you today to the first video in our new web series called At Home in the 1800s. So each week, I'm going to be posting content looking at gardening, food, culture, fashion from the 1800s. So things that people would be doing in their homes in the 19th and early 20th century. So today I am going to create the start of a natural dye garden. The plants we're going to be featuring are going to primarily produce yellow dyes too. So when you start a dye garden, you want to have yellows, reds, blues. Today is all about the yellows. So for thousands of years, people have used natural dyes to color their clothing, textiles, to create artwork, to use for cosmetic purposes. The coverlets that we have in our gallery space are created primarily with natural dyes. Synthetic dyes were discovered in 1859, but really didn't replace natural dyes until well into the 20th century. So a dye garden really isn't a traditional part of dyeing. Most dyers gathered local wild plants and weeds or purchased imported dye stuff such as indigo and cochineal. So you may see a garden at a colonial or early American home, but most gardens are going to be a conglomeration of different vegetables to cook, medicinal herbs, and plants that could be used for dyeing. So we're not really being totally traditional here, but we'll start and see how you can make your own natural dye garden at your own house too. The first flower we have for our dye garden is the blanket flower, or Gaillardia. This plant is named for the 18th century botanist Gaillard de Chardin and is native to North America. The common name blanket flower was inspired by the designs and colors of Native American weavings. The next plant we will look at is yarrow. Yarrow has had many uses throughout history. Achilles of Greek mythology used it to tend to injured soldiers. It appears in 17th, 18th, and 19th century herbalist remedies, and it can be found growing in fields around the world. Yarrow has great medicinal qualities and can be used to help heal blood clots, or to help blood clot, to reduce fevers, as well as to alleviate the symptoms of earaches, head colds, bruises, toothaches, all different kinds of things. It is also used as a dye plant, and unlike some of the other dyes that we're going to look at today, it produces a yellow to green colored dye. We also have the marigold. Marigolds are indigenous to Mexico and Guatemala. They were brought to Europe and North Africa in the late 16th century. They are quite common in the United States by the 1800s. The flower is often used as a substitute for saffron to color cakes, butter, and pudding, but it was also used for broth and dye. Marigold produces a brilliant yellow to orange dye. The last plant that we're going to be looking at and working with today is marjoram, also known as oregano, which produces dyes that are yellow, orange, brown, and gray, depending on the type of mordant that you use to set the dye. Some sources claim that marjoram was brought to the Americas with the first European colonists, but the herb really didn't receive widespread use in the United States until after the First World War. So this is kind of a later addition to the dye garden. Enough talk, let's go out and plant our plants. the start to our beautiful yellow dye garden. In a few weeks, we'll have both flowers that I'm sure both I and the pollinators will enjoy. Thanks for joining us today. You can subscribe to our channel to get new updates on new videos as we start rolling them out in the next couple weeks, or visit us online at www.mccarlgallery.org and on our Facebook page, also under Foster Mural McCarl Gallery for our latest updates, events, and videos like this. Have a great day!